everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar. Our webinar today is focusing on MSc Health Economics. My name is Lucy Heaney. I am from the Global Office here at University of Galway. Today, I am joined by the Programme Director, Dr. Ronan Mahon, Sharon Ullman, and current student Anna Sheldon. Thank you very much for joining us. As I mentioned earlier, on the right-hand side of your screen, there is a live chat where you're free to ask questions. We'll have a Q&A after the presentations. But for now, I'll hand over to you, Sharon.
Thanks, Lucy. Thank you, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us here today in a sunny Galway. So we're here to talk to you today about our MSc in Health Economics, which Ronan and Anna will do so. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the university and where we're located. So I suppose first off, for those of you who are not based here in Ireland, Galway is we're located on the west coast of Ireland, on the western edge of Europe. So we're an island of the continent of Europe. And we are based on the west coast of the island, the Wild Atlantic Way. But we have excellent connectivity. So we are just 2.5 hours by public transport from Dublin. And Shannon International Airport is about an hour away. So we have very good transport links. And then why Galway City as opposed to any other city in Ireland? So I suppose Galway is an incredibly vibrant and cosmopolitan city, and it is most definitely the most culturally diverse in Ireland. And this feeds into the atmosphere of the city and of the place, in the arts, the music and the film. And we have world-renowned international festivals taking place throughout the year. It's a small city of just roughly 85,000 residents, but students make up about 20% of the population and really are a very integral part of the city. So we would see ourselves as a student city. It's very student-centric. It's also a very safe city here. We have very low crime rate. And everything is within walking distance, and really within walking distance of the city. And sometimes it's hard to tell where the city begins and the university begins, or where one starts and the other one ends, because we really are the city, as you will see in, my next slide, that this is the university here, and the city has built up around it. So it was established in 1845, and we're a world-renowned research-led university. And our school, J. Cairnes School of Business and Economics, is at the forefront of that research. All our postgrad programs are developed based on this cutting-edge research and in response to industry demands. We collaborate really closely with industry through research, but also through placements, site visits, seminars, external engagement and such. Also, as I mentioned, it's a leading hub for medtech, pharmaceutical and healthcare sectors. So it's these companies that we work really closely with. Now, I know, Ronan, you're probably going to speak about them as well, because they would be an integral part of all our programs. We aim to instill and nurture skills that are required for the workplace, such as leadership skills, communication and collaboration skills, analytical skills, technical skills, and cross-cultural skills. In recent years, there's been huge investment in the university, including state-of-the-art new buildings and cutting-edge technology. So you can see here, this is our beautiful quadrangle building, which is the centerpiece of our university. But up around that, you can see here, and in a larger scale, we have a lot of modern buildings, huge investment, as I say, over the last 10, 15 years. And we have cutting edge technologies, beautiful buildings, everything really that we need to share the research and the knowledge that our excellent academic colleagues have to give. We're the #1 student-friendly university in the country, and we have over 100 clubs and societies that you can join, and events are organised throughout the year for our diverse cohort of students. And this is an integral part of the student experience and really is prioritised as such, especially here in the school. We are very, very internationally focused and really it's a very inclusive school, as is the university, but I think a special effort is made within the school. I think you probably both agree, guys, that we have a lot of events organised throughout the year. So on completion of your study here, you will be work ready, career ready, and world ready. So at a glance, the university, we're in the top 2% of universities in the world, according to the QS University Rankings in 2024. We have a very engaged alumni network of over 115,000 worldwide. So should you study here with us, you too become part of this network. We're #1 campus in Ireland for sustainable development, an achievement for which we worked really hard and for which we are very proud. 98% of our graduates are in employment or in further education. And we have over 19,000 students that we have in the university, 18% are international, representing 122 countries worldwide. So just on the technical side, say if you are to apply for, how to apply for our programs here, the application process is quite simple. It's Lucy here. There's a QR code there, so if you want to click on that there or to zap it. Offers are made on a rolling basis. All applications are made online, and we would encourage you to apply early to secure an offer on your program. And then on scholarships, there are many scholarships offered by the university, but the scholarships that we offer here, for special mention, would be in the school, we offer a business merit postgraduate scholarship, which can be up to 50% of the tuition fee. So it's quite a generous scholarship. And to be eligible, there's no application process, but if you, to be eligible, you must have achieved a H1 or equivalent in your undergraduate degree. And these are the closing dates here. So it's the 30th of April. So there's still time there to accept your offer to be eligible for consideration. If you're an international student, 30th of April 2025. And for EU students, it's the 1st of July 2025. And then there's the Government of Ireland Scholarship, which is external to the university. It's a countrywide university, but not every programme is considered. And in fact, in our school, we only have 3 programmes, one of which is Health Economics. And so this is an incredibly generous scholarship, a full fee waiver, a €10,000 stipend for 1 year, and it's open to international students only. So apologies, sorry to any EU Irish students there. But yeah, so the closing date for that is the 5th of March. So that is an application process. The information again is the QR code. You scan through to scholarships and go through to international students further information, and you'll get the information there in the Government of Ireland Scholarship. And I would encourage you to apply for that, as we will be assessing those applications. And I think the outcome of that is early June. Early June, I think is when they expect to announce the successful candidates for that. And now I'm going to hand you over to Ronan, who is going to talk to you about the programme. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sharon, and welcome everyone to the webinar. I'm Dr. Ronan Mahon. I'm the Programme Director for the MSc in Health Economics at the University of Galway. So I'll say a few brief words about health economics and what it is that we hope to achieve through the programme in health economics. So health economics, put simply, is the application of economic theories and economic analyses to issues in health and healthcare, which is obvious enough, I suppose. Like a lot of people, when I first encountered health economics, I thought, oh, this is an interesting niche area within health economics. And then I quickly came to appreciate that actually health economics is a very broad area in its own right, and there are various strands within it. So we seek to cater for all of these strands, all of these components in health economics. And I'm breaking those components down in a very simplified way on the slide that you see before you. So I think of the kind of key components in health economics as representing various stakeholder perspectives within health or healthcare systems. So one of the first things we would seek to do in our program in health economics is, as is articulated on the top of the slide here, in economics of health and healthcare, understand in a very fundamental way what is health and healthcare from an economic standpoint. And we would generally take the view of individuals. So individuals or patients or consumers, however you might want to think of them in a health or healthcare system, and we would seek to understand, how do people generally value health? How do they trade health off with other economic goods? How does the valuation of health change over time? So on and so forth. So this is probably, in my mind, the purest application of ideas in economics to issues in health and healthcare. What we would then also seek to do, as is articulated on the left-hand side of the slide, is to take a policymaker perspective. And this is arguably the most prominent or perhaps most obvious component within health economics. What kind of healthcare system should we seek to impose on our jurisdiction, wherever that may be? If there are particular issues of health and healthcare, how should we organize the resources available to us to be able to address those issues in an effective way? So that policymaker perspective is obviously very important, and a perspective that we take in a number of the modules that we deliver throughout the program. Lastly then, as is articulated on the right-hand side of the slide, we have this issue of what could be called the economic evaluation of medicines, might also be called health technology assessment. And this put simply is the idea of trying to understand how much some activity, some intervention, some medicine in a healthcare system is worth. And this has become a very, very important issue in the last number of years, and it's probably become the most prominent area in health economics, certainly the area within health economics with the most growth, probably with the most employment opportunity as well. So this component of health economics is something that we embrace, that we put a lot of focus on. That happens to be my own area of interest and expertise as well. So there are a number of modules that we have that focus on this kind of area. And of course, with all of these components, we want to think about theory, we want to think about policy, and we want to think about analysis. So we try to cater for all of these approaches to the key strands that exist in health economics. The last thing that I want to mention is the placement component that we have in our program. So that's something that has been, I think, a real success in the program, something that we're really proud of, and something that we continue to work at. One interesting feature of Ireland is that it has a very prominent life sciences industry and very prominent pharmaceutical industry in particular. So anyone in a life sciences company, and of course, this is another interesting aspect of economic evaluation, that we're partly taking a kind of manufacturer perspective, a private company perspective. So we have a lot of such companies in Ireland, and they all need health economists to try and help to answer these questions about the valuation of medicines, to try and manage a health technology assessment within various countries all across the globe. So there's a lot of demand for the health economics skill set. We tend to have lots of opportunities to be placed with one of these companies, or indeed with the governmental assessor entity or research entity as well. So although a placement is not guaranteed, there are lots of opportunities, and generally the vast majority of students who want an external placement will have that opportunity. One very last thing I want to say as well is that this program can be taken on a full-time basis or a part-time basis. So we would have a really nice mix of students, and it'd be great to hear from Anna in a moment, with lots of different backgrounds. And I think there's a great peer-to-peer learning aspect in the health economics program. But you might also have a number of part-time students who are working in a kind of related sector, in a clinical role, or perhaps in one of these pharmaceutical companies. but we have this part-time option that facilitates these kinds of students to engage with the program, add to their skill set, and continue on in their career, or perhaps they want to switch career into something else as well. So that's all I want to say. Happy to answer any questions that might come through, but at this point I will hand over to Anna, who is one of our students, and she may speak about her experience with the program. Over to you, Anna.
Thanks, Ronan. So my name's Anna. I actually come from a clinical background and I'm from Scotland originally, but I started the course in Galway in September just past. Kind of my reasons for choosing Galway and Ireland, I had spent a lot of time there on holidays. I've got family in Ireland, but I'd kind of romanticized the West Coast and the culture and the music in Galway, and that's kind of what brought me to it. Also really like surfing, and there's some great surfing opportunities all down the West Coast as well. The course in particular, I think, like what Ronan was talking about, the applied economics placement really appealed to me. I'm looking to transition in my career, so the opportunity to get some work experience and contribute towards my master's at the same time was really appealing. Likewise, with kind of chose health economics more particularly because it kind of was this melting pot of using some of my clinical experience and research experience and then developing these new economic skills, in particular in economic evaluation. I think I didn't really understand the true depth of economic evaluation and the impact health economics has on health systems and life science industry in general until I did the course. And it's really kind of broadened my understanding of kind of all these external influences to the healthcare sector outside of the hospital setting that I was used to. But it's been a really rewarding experience so far. The fellow students on the course are from a wide range of backgrounds: pharmacists, doctors, people that have come straight from undergrad, individuals from Ireland and further afield. So it's been a really great opportunity to kind of learn from everybody else's experience, which we get to do quite frequently through regular group work and projects and presentations. So it's been a great opportunity to kind of expand my learning skills, but also presenting, teamwork, leadership as well has been kind of really important throughout the course. And another aspect that was really important to me was our kind of Thursday afternoon sessions where we had employers and previous students from the course come in and chat to us about what they are doing now. So from pharma companies, from consulting agencies, and all people that had previously done the course maybe last year, maybe a number of years ago, and kind of talk about their career progression and where they're working now. So that was a really interesting experience because you could see kind of the progression from the course into industry, which was really important. I don't know what else to say. If anyone has any questions. Oh, I see in the chat. Is the course very maths based? So, you know, I'm coming from a clinical background where I haven't done any formal maths learning for a number of years, but part of the start of the course, we did mathematics for economists. So kind of refreshing the knowledge you probably would have learned at school and expanding on that so that you could relate it to the econometrics, the kind of statistics of economics learning that you do throughout the course. So I found that really useful and beneficial. So I would say you need some kind of previous knowledge, but the tutors work really hard to kind of get you up to speed with where you should be to progress on the course.
Great, thank you, Anna. I think there's something else that perhaps either yourself or Ronan could answer as well. Are modules relevant to any type of healthcare system across the globe to make us job ready anywhere in the world?
Yeah, yes is the short answer. These issues of health economics are universal, essentially. So a lot of these theories that we would talk through are applicable to any health or health system or healthcare system across the globe. So yes, we would do that. I mean, when we talk about, let's say, healthcare systems, we would run through the different kinds of systems that you would typically see. Maybe we might have certain systems in Europe and North America in mind when we're talking about that topic. And a lot of the evidence that's available to us might come from advanced systems as well. But we look at issues in global health, and that's something that we're keen to grow over the coming years as well, to look more specifically at other parts of the world and the health and healthcare challenges that may be existent there.
Thank you. Fiona has also asked, how would placement work for part-time students if in full-time work? Is there an alternative to a placement?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, an external placement is something that a lot of students actively seek. You probably see it as a bridge to full-time employment, but it doesn't suit everyone's ambitions. Some people might want to engage with the program to advance their career in a current company or whatever it is that they may be. In which case we can come. So every student on the course, whether full-time or part-time, will have to write something equivalent to a dissertation during the last summer of their program. So a student might be on an external placement. A student might develop a dissertation while based with us in the university, or a student who may still be working full-time while engaging with the program part-time. We may agree with that student a nice research project that they can be doing while still working, or ideally it's a research project that relates to their work in some way. There might be some data available or something useful that they'd like to do for their employer that will work well as a dissertation and an interesting piece of research from the faculty perspective. So yes, I mean, there are lots of options there, and we try to facilitate the student's situation as much as possible, as long as there's something akin to a dissertation that can be developed and delivered.
Great, thank you. Will we be able to join the Principles in Microeconomics course without completing the student registration? Is that something that you'd know about?
I would imagine, you mean the registration. I wonder, they're talking about, do they have to make the application first?
If you can give us more details there.
Okay.
This, Michali.
Ronan,
I did answer as best as I could an earlier question from Natalia, unless he's followed up with that. But yes, I see he's asked a follow-on question. I mean, I don't see how there could be an issue in enrolling on the Principle of Microeconomics course if the registration for the MSc program hasn't been completed. But obviously it would be better to at least have a conditional offer in place before you commit to that Principle in Microeconomics course. So that's typically how it's done. But I'm very mindful with that option of a prep course that it's on quite early in the year. I think it begins in March. Enrollment is happening now. So students that do have a conditional offer by that point might find that a very good option. But as I said in my earlier reply, it doesn't have to be that prep course in particular. There are a number of online prep courses that would do the job. So for students who apply a little bit later and receive a conditional offer a little bit later, we typically, if needed, we typically point them to those online courses or some kind of solution, just to make sure there's some kind of grounding in microeconomics before we jump into what is a master's in economics at the end of the day. But I can talk students through that and come up with some way to make sure that they're prepared. The idea of that prep course isn't to land something else on you. It's just to make sure that all students are equipped to get the most out of the MSc program, so have been introduced to certain key ideas in economics.
Wonderful, thank you. I think that's it. We can wait a moment or two to see if there's any more questions coming in. Sometimes there can be a little bit of a delay in the line, but that's
just
it.
while we're waiting there, maybe in case anybody is thinking of asking a question, just the entry requirements, actually, Ronan, we didn't actually run through those, so just in case for anybody watching that hasn't seen that. So normally it's a 2-1 degree with economics. However, candidates with significantly high 2-2 honours degrees and who have achieved a 2-1 average in relevant economics modules in a business degree will also be considered. So that is the general entry requirement. And I'm just seeing here now the principles of economics is not in this, what I'm looking at here, but so that comes into play when somebody doesn't have that 2-1 average in a relevant economics.
Well, if someone
to clarify for others.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone doesn't have a background at all in economics. So, for example, a very typical student that we would have in our program is someone with a pharmacy degree or medical degree or something like that. So someone coming from a clinical background. And of course, we're open to all backgrounds, and that's what makes one of the things that makes the program very good. But if someone doesn't have that background in economics, that's when we would issue a conditional offer, and the condition is to complete some kind of relevant prep course just to get that grounding.
Perfect.
So it's upon issue of that conditional offer that's when we'll point you towards these prep courses.
Perfect.
Great,
thank you. And Fiona has asked here, when is the application closing to apply for the Masters?
So there's no closing, it's on a rolling basis, but as I mentioned earlier, we do advise that you apply early to ensure that there will be a place and that you will receive an offer. So yeah, but there is no closing date, it's on a rolling basis.
Yeah.
But if you
absolutely.
have a H1 degree, and Fiona, I'm assuming that you're from here, well, either or, to be eligible for the scholarship, for the Business Merit Scholarship, the closing date would be, what did I say, 30th of April. That would be the closing date to be eligible to be considered for that, if you do have a H1 undergraduate degree.
I mean, for the coming academic year, there's at least a soft closing date. If it's the day before the start of the program, then we might point applicants to the following academic year at that point. But we do often get applications late in the summer, and we do our best to accommodate those. So there is time, but as Sharon said, the earlier the better from our perspective, and probably ultimately from your perspective as well.
Okay, and Pavan, just a quick question apart from the academic part. Are there any student ambassadors from this course with whom could clarify any doubts? I look forward to guidance. I'm not sure if we have ambassadors from this particular program, but on this platform, you can any student ambassadors who come from a wide range of programs, you can ask them any questions that you may have just about life in Galway or about the program itself. They should be on this platform if you wish.
I can check that for you as well, just in case, because we also have the ambassadors within just our own ambassadors here. So I'll check that. I'll follow up on that, and if there's somebody from the program, I can put them in contact with you, or put you in contact with them.
That's fantastic.
On the program webpage as well, I know we have some testimonies from various past students from an array of backgrounds as well. So they might be happy for you to get in touch with them. Also, there's LinkedIn as well. You could find a number of alumni that way, and mostly people are happy to give you some honest answers to your questions in that way as well. So hopefully you'll find some past student who'll be happy to chat to you.
Just a question there about accommodation. We have on this platform as well, we have accommodation webinar that you can watch, and on our website as well, we have accommodation advice that you can get as well.
And I just have there, it's the accommodation queries. We have the student advisory service.
Yes.
So if you do a search engine search for, well, the link is there, but Student Advisory Service, University of Galway, and you get all the information there, and they're very helpful. Yeah, they're really helpful there as well. So as well as the ambassador platform. And our contact details are there as well. So you can see Ronan's email address and my email address if you've any admissions queries or scholarship queries or anything like that.
Another question from Mantelas. After the prep course, the exam on principles of microeconomics would be conducted online. So is that course conducted online?
I think there's certainly an online option. Anna, you did that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was living in New Zealand when I did the course, so it was fully online. And I just logged in. It just happened to be the morning when I did it. For everyone else, it was the evening, and it was all. I think it was via Zoom, like on the Canvas, which is the platform that they use for the university for all the rest of the modules.
Yeah. So in terms of assessment, I think Brendan, who has historically delivered that module, decides what's appropriate on any 1 year. So I think there wasn't an exam per se last time. So again, maybe Anna, you could speak to that, but it's informal enough. Again, the idea is just to make sure those students are equipped to take on certain postgrad programs in economics.
Yeah, it was basically just informal one-to-ones online kind of discussion around the concepts, just to make sure that you'd got the understanding. So it was quite informal.
Okay. I didn't know that. Sorry, I assumed it was more formal. But that's good to know. That's really good to know that it's for the benefit. It really is for your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
That's as opposed to another test, another exam.
Yeah.
Question there for Fiona. I am finishing an economics degree with another subject, but did not do economics. Will the course be difficult if I haven't studied that particular module?
Econometrics.
Econometrics, sorry.
There, which is kind of statistics as applied to economics. No, I don't think so. And I didn't invite Anna again to say something about that, but I don't think so. I mean, econometrics is a very useful toolkit to have in economics in general, any applied field, including health. And there are lots of interesting issues in health that you can address using an econometrics toolkit. But I think you could be a very good health economist of various different types without necessarily relying on econometrics. So this whole component that I spoke about earlier of economic evaluation or health technology assessment, which is, again, probably the most prominent component of health economics at the moment and where employment opportunities are, so on and so forth, that doesn't really require econometrics. If you want, great, it's a brilliant thing to have, but you could easily focus on other aspects of the program. Like if you weren't too comfortable with the quantitative aspects, in general, I still think you'd be okay. But it's good to grapple with some kind of analytic toolkit. So on that health economic evaluation stuff, we often use decision models to try and estimate the cost effectiveness of some medicine, for example, or the budget impact. So that's kind of a useful analytic toolkit, but it's quite separate to econometrics. Now, having said that, in my experience on this program, students tend to enter the program kind of terrified of econometrics and feel it's something that they just have to get through, as it is a core module in the first semester for full-time students at least. And then we'll find that students become very comfortable with it, really enjoy that semester 1 module, and then choose the advanced econometrics version in semester 2. So there's a whole bunch of students this year who have gone through that exact journey. So I'd have every faith that someone who isn't keen on econometrics now, we may change your mind over the course of the program, but if it's not your cup of tea, that's absolutely fine. You would have to do that core module, and you'll be in the same class as a whole bunch of people who have never done much economics before at all, so you'll be in good company. But I think there's every chance that you'll enjoy it and want to do more of it.
Yeah, I had never done any econometrics, and my kind of statistical knowledge was pretty low as well. And although I found it quite a steep learning curve, I got through it in the end, and I actually found it really, really enjoyable and satisfying. So yeah, I would not put that as a deterrence at all.
Fantastic, thank you. Seems to be all the questions for now. Thank you so much. That was really insightful. Thank you so much for your knowledge, and thanks everybody for joining us today. You have been given the email addresses there that if you have any further questions, you can follow up with. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.